Joining us right now is Reagan economic advisor Art Laffer. Art, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to see you, Maria. What a great panel you have.
Yeah, we have a fantastic panel this morning, and we really want to get to their knowledge and experience in terms of what this budget tells us. We kick it off with you. The plan is calling for cuts to more than 18 government agencies, Art, including, increasing spending and border security. So you've got cuts in certain areas, but big moves up in defense. You were the first chief economist for the Office of Management and Budget. What's your take on this budget plan?
I think this is where the president really tells us what he's going to do. This is where the rubber hits the road. This is where his policies are laid out in detail, and that's what we did in 1970, and that's what's going to happen in every budget. And I'm really pleased with his speech in Nashville, and I hope, and I haven't gone through this budget carefully, but I hope it really does lay out what he wants to do, including and especially including the tax rate reductions that will stimulate the growth that will allow all of this to really unfold properly.
So far, those tax reductions, Dagan, are only around Obamacare plan, the health care plan. They remove certain taxes. That's a big tax cut. I realize that, Art.
It is.
Yeah. What's your take, Dagan?
Well, one, in the GOP healthcare proposal, they don't get rid of the Cadillac tax. They kick it down the road, which shame on them for that little budget trick, Art, right? Because, again, it's still a revenue raiser. It's just delayed even further.
But, Dagan, it's 2025. I mean, come on. I'm 76. I won't even, I
know, that's why I call it a gimmick. That's why it's a little trick.
It is a gimmick.
They didn't have a choice because of reconciliation. They had to show that the bill reduced the deficit.
Okay. They could have gotten rid of it all. They could have.
They could have. You're right.
Push it down to 2025.
Because it's a budget trick. It's to make sure that it balances out. Hey, Art, but I want to ask you, do you think that given some of the hurdles that the GOP is facing with the repeal and replacement of Obamacare, that we just get a straight tax cut and we don't get tax reform this year?
Well, I think we get a tax cut. Now, I don't know how much tax reform we're going to get, and I really don't know how much tax reform I really want. If you'll remember, Reagan did tax cuts in '81, tax reform in '86. You know, it takes a little experience, a little time to really be able to do tax reform correctly. But if he drops that highest rate down to 33% and he drops the corporate rate down to 15%, this country is off and running like a rocket ship,
but
and that's what we need.
He's not going to go to 15%. I mean, you know, the president has been talking about 15%, but we know what House Speaker Paul Ryan wants. I mean, he started at 25. I think people should feel lucky that he's going to be agreeing to 20%. We had Paul Ryan on yesterday, Art. He mentioned you, actually. Listen to this.
Oh, my goodness.
You go back and read the books about Reagan. Art Laffer has told me the story a million times. When you delay tax rate reductions for later, you're actually delaying economic growth. You're delaying decision making. So the last thing we want to do is delay growth on the margin that would occur with rate cuts.
All right. Wow. You just don't want to delay people's decisions, right?
Yeah, I don't want to delay the tax cuts. I want them done right away. And if reform comes a little later and rate reductions comes in 2017, I think that would be excellent. Paul Ryan is completely correct. You know, people don't care about tax cuts until they happen, and then the economic activity occurs. And we just can't afford to wait until 2018 to get this economy back on track.
Yeah, you know, it's like, hey, Art, this is Arthur Brooks from AEI.
Hey, Arthur, how are you?
You just told me you're 76 years old. I mean, look at that head of hair. This is like,
that can't be.
I've got Reagan's barber. I've got Reagan's barber.
I mean, look,
he's 66.
I'm 52, and you got me. I could be. Look, that head of hair could be president. Okay. Art, I got a quick question for you. I know we're all really concerned about the tax cuts going through and being really effective and getting it done now. But do you join my anxiety about the fact that we're only talking about cutting the budget in the 1/6 of the budget, that's domestic discretionary spending? I mean, what should we do about entitlements? Get on the record here about your view on that.
Yeah, let me be on the record here on entitlements, like we were with Reagan. Wait for reform of entitlements until we get economic growth. If you look at social entitlement programs, if both parents are unemployed, the school lunch program is a necessity, not a luxury. But once you get that economic growth, once both those parents have good, high-paying jobs, then you can cut the entitlements programs without doing damage to people. I think the concept of pay for, that Paul Ryan and Brady and all these others are hugging and kissing, is a bad concept for the current budget. Tax cuts pay for themselves down the road, and that's when we can really cut entitlements and cut spending a lot. But I think the president's doing it almost exactly correctly in this budget so far as I've heard about the budget document.
So wait for the growth then, Betsy.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
you got to wait for the growth before you start cutting unemployment benefits or food stamps or school
That's what
lunch.
Reagan did.
Just what Reagan did, Betsy. You're completely right.
All right, we will leave it there. Art, always great to have your insights on this. Thanks so much.
It is wonderful to be on the show. Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Art Laffer joining us there.